Welcome back to the World Championship Series Europe round of 8. Our first match is already gone, and I actually can't believe that it's already done. It's amazing. We've had a 35-minute PvP against two cracking Protoss players, but in the end, only one can win, and that winner is MC. I know what did you make of it?
Impressive. To be honest, I mean, after we saw Stardust take game number 1, I was like, well, this is how it's going to go. This is what everyone's kind of anticipating. Stardust looks really good in PvP, but then it's the boss toss. It's the boss toss. He somehow pulls it out of a hat once again.
Yeah, every time he's coming up with those rabbits, isn't he? That's for sure. So a 3-1 victory for him. Just confirm that on your screen. He does make it through to the semi-finals for the 3rd consecutive season here in WCS Europe. He'll play the winner of our next game, which is VortiX versus jjakji. Just your initial thoughts on VortiX jjakji. What are you expecting?
I'm very
Fireworks?
excited. I'm very excited for this one, man. I think it's probably no secret that I'm a big VortiX fan. People, you know, it's quite known. But likewise, in terms of jjakji actually coming over to the European scene, very excited in what he's been doing here as well. But at the same time, I think that, you know, jjakji, he still needs that title that everyone's saying he's in Europe for. Where is it?
Yeah, they are both looking for a title, in Europe. jjakji, of course, has won before a GSL title, but that was back in 2011. These two have had very different runs through from the round of 16. VortiX completely undefeated. jjakji, though, slipping up to another European Zerg. Let's check in and find out just exactly how they qualified for the quarterfinals.
His style is so solid.
He even beat jjakji. These days, if you beat jjakji, you can beat anybody.
VortiX just has so much momentum behind him right now. He's like, well, I'm going to the final or winning a season this year.
He would be the first non-Korean to win a WCS title. Our next match is MMA versus VortiX.
A real clash of the titans for me in my mind.
In the meantime, by MMA.
Oh, nice connection with the Banelings, though, in the middle of the map. VortiX has overwhelming numbers, overwhelming superiority. GG for game number 1.
His MVP versus VortiX.
The upgrades are fantastic for VortiX, and he is going to power through here. And he is going to break the front line. And we're breaking the front line is access to the tanks. We are going to have a Spanish first-place finisher in the round of 16 here. VortiX goes through easily.
He's a champion, he's a winner, he's a guy that wants that top spot.
jjakji, the new pretender to the crown in Europe.
And Immortal, 2 Stalkers, okay, and the Immortal goes down immediately.
The Mothership Core is going to fly towards those Marines.
The Archon is gone, the Stalkers are gone, the Mothership Core is gone, the Natural is exposed, the Probes are exposed, and this is not looking good. GG, jjakji takes 2-0. What a game we have. A Frenchman versus a Korean to find out who will go through in 2nd place. Not enough Hellbats. There's not enough units here. jjakji just steamrolls all these tanks and Thors. Look at how much bio he has. He doesn't care about 3-3. It's because he's continuing to get dropped there. But good game, well played. A fantastic game from jjakji. Absolutely, really solid game. jjakji, congratulations, buddy. You go into the quarterfinals. Congratulations, GG.
So as we said, 2 very different paths through to the round of 8. We're going to start with VortiX. Round of 16, Season 1. Round of 8, Season 2. Round of 4, Season 3. The symmetry suggests round of 2 is exactly where he's going to end up this season. But that's just, you know, I don't know what that is, but voodoo or something. But it can't be as easy as that for him, surely.
Voodoo, coincidence, whatever you call it. I think that despite a lot of people touting him to get that far, I'm one of those people included. I think that VortiX could go all the way to the finals here this tournament. It's still a hard road. I mean, jjakji of all people, that's a difficult hurdle.
Let's look at some of the evidence on the table right now. Aligalac has VortiX as the #1 non-Korean in the world. It has him as the #1 ZVP player in the world, including Koreans, and the #1 ZVT player in the world, including Koreans. Now, we both know that, you know, Aligalac, as good and fun as it is, does have some non-WCS matches in there. It also has some one-day cups in there and perhaps some players which aren't on the same level as VortiX. So where do you know, that aside, where do you rate him?
VortiX right now?
Yeah.
I mean, Sean signaled that he was on the hype train, like, just
He's
before.
He's captain of the train.
I'm right there. Like, I think that VortiX, you know, has always been steadily improving. We've seen that through the WCS system. We've seen him even during the VortiX Invitational, where he was able to take a familiar face out in the grand finals, perform so well as well. So, VortiX, I'm not surprised that he's currently statistically taken that #1 spot as a non-Korean. And hey, what better way to prove it than going further here in WCS? They've
played each other twice, both in 2014. jjakji coming out 2-0, but then the most recent one, as you said, in the VortiX 3-2 to VortiX. How much of a marker is that for him in tonight's matchup?
It's a good question, and I think it's a very, very interesting look at how this series could go, because the most interesting thing about how VortiX plays this matchup is that almost every single map, he does something different. jjakji's the kind of guy that plays mostly bio. You know, the MYI guys were trying to convince him to play mech for a while in the matchup. But if you play a mech against someone like VortiX, he's going to crush it really early, because he's going to identify it. He's going to bring that down with like good roach, even into Hydra aggression, and kill you with range attacks, even drops potentially. But the thing is that a lot of the VortiX success that we've seen against Terrans, during the round of 16, for example, where he's playing MMA and MVP, it was off a huge amount of aggression. And I think that jjakji going into this series probably says, well, yeah, okay, you're good, you're well-rounded, but you're bringing a lot of aggression. If I'm playing defensive, if I'm scouting you, if I'm keeping an eye on everything you're doing, then maybe I can just kind of hold and weather the storm, as it were.
Okay, jjakji for his own... I mean, it seems remarkable to me that we're talking about jjakji as a first-time WCS Europe player, because it feels like he's been here for a long time in Europe, and he pretty much has, almost half of last year and start of this year. But it is his first season in WCS Europe. He did remarkably well in Korea last year in the final season of GSL and WCS, finishing 6th. It's almost like what did he decide, that he needed a new challenge or something? I mean, top 8 in GSL Korea is nothing to be ashamed of. And that automatically made him a favourite for WCS Europe, but he seems to have tumbled down the order a little bit.
Well, we'll find that out, I guess, today.
We will.
But I think you're right. The thing is again, what we expected from jjakji is him to come to Europe, and he said it himself. He's like, Europe is now mine. It places his little Terran flag in there, little jjakji flag. And giving up that spot in Korea was a big thing. I mean, he was one of 4 Terrans in GSL, in GSL Code S. That was his position. There was only 3 left when he left. Now he's here in Europe, and if he doesn't get past this round of 8, at least, if he doesn't get past that, that's a major fail for jjakji in his mind. jjakji is a guy that he had that championship a long time ago, but he still has that thirst, that hunger. Similar to MC, in fact. I mean, his titles, where are they? I mean, I'm saying I would consider MC a bit of a Kong at the moment, but jjakji, likewise, he needs to also step up, and there's so many players in this round of 8 that really need to win this tournament to prove themselves. jjakji's one of them, VortiX is one of them.
All right, well, thank you very much, Kalaris. Hear from you at the end of the match and wrap up exactly what happens between these two. Remember, it's a best of 5, as these 2 youngest of the Lions in WCS Europe will go clawing at each other momentarily. Don't forget, you can still interact with us and send us your line drawings using the hashtag #WCS on Twitter. And don't forget to check out the Facebook pages and the official StarCraft Twitter account @StarCraft. Easy enough to remember. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the Lions to go hunting. It's jjakji versus VortiX.
Thank you very much, Red Eye, and welcome to the Caster's Desk, everybody. I am joined by Team Liquid's Zerg professional player, Josta Groen, a.k.a. Rhett. How did I say your name today?
Pretty much the same way every non-Dutch person usually pronounces it, so terribly wrong, but that's okay.
Absolutely perfect start to this cast. I am very excited for this matchup here. How are you feeling for this one?
Yeah, this one is absolutely amazing. VortiX has been on so much fire recently, and jjakji has been kind of showing that he can lose to non-Korean players. And of course, this is the biggest tournament and the biggest stage, and it matters the most. And it's also kind of the first real test we're going to see. Like, is it true? Are the Europeans ready? Are they ready to, you know, take back Europe and reconquer it for ourselves? Or was it just a flash in the pan the last weeks, and jjakji is just going to wipe the floor with Europe? But
Well, I'm quite excited for this one. We do have the map vetoes in process. This is a best of 5, so each player has a single elimination each. Heavy Rain and Altazine are the 2 maps. VortiX with Heavy Rain and then jjakji with Altazine here. Talk us through these maps, though, from a professional standpoint. Frost to kick us off.
Yeah, Frost is a nice, neutral, one would say macro map to kick things off. Not likely for there to be any proxies or anything like that. I think for a first game, it's going to be immediately a battle of real strength and macro, and probably we're going to see a Mutaling game. And then the second game, Habitation Station, that's a bit of a trickier map. You can do things like lift to the gold base, and there's more chance for like a proxy 11-11. And then...
Ooh, it's can be quite an aggressive map played from the Zerg there, with the wide open space on the third and also the natural there. Could see quite an aggressive explosion from VortiX.
Yeah, if he's going to play Roach Hider, he might do it there, and then we're going to close out with Yonsu and what's the last one?
The last one.
You know the last one.
No,
you play it all the
time.
I don't know.
I wasn't looking, sorry. I was actually thinking something. Polar Knight.
Yeah.
All right, so those are our 5 maps, and we'll be jumping into this in a couple of seconds' time. Do you have any personal favorites coming into this one?
Well, everyone here has been saying VortiX.
Yeah, you too?
But no.
No?
Nope.
No? You're going with the Korean. You're going with jjakji.
I'm saying jjakji. I think jjakji is really tired of losing to European Zergs, and I think jjakji got really mad after the VezaCast and the loss to Snoot around 16. So I can't imagine anything than jjakji just practicing all day. And I'm really scared of a practice jjakji.
Yeah, well, jjakji is very solid. He knows exactly how to execute his play. He's very aggressive, but also is very well mechanically driven. Doesn't really have supply blocks. He's always got his production down at the right time. How would you describe VortiX, though? For anyone who doesn't really know his playstyle, what are the, a sentence to describe him?
Well, as James mentioned, he's pretty much extremely well-rounded. Like, he can do anything. I rewatched all of his round of 16 games, and in every single game, there was a different build. Like, he can 1-1 roach you, he can just roach bane you with 2 gases. He can even do 1-base Link Bane, which he did against jjakji on Frost in the VezaCast tournament. So he can do anything. He can also play a great Mutaling game with creep spread. It's really hard to predict him.
Does he have a weakness, though, if he's good at everything? Then
I think someone like Snoot might be better in the very, very ultra late game, just because he goes for that late game all the time.
Yeah.
But up until the 13, 14-minute mark, I don't see any real weaknesses in VortiX play.
How can jjakji approach a player who's capable of anything? Does he have to play overly, scout heavy here? Is he going to play very reactionary? How is he going to approach VortiX?
Well, I'm not sure what he specifically has planned for this series, but if I was him, I would probably go for the late game, like get the game to 4 bases. Because that's where jjakji is very strong. That's where his mechanics show through. And he played some extremely close macro games with Snoot. And I personally think Snoot is the best right now in ZVT macro. So if he can improve on that just a little bit and take it to that stage of the game with VortiX, I think that's probably his best chance.
Well, a lot of people are looking at VortiX to be the one to almost, in an essence, replace Stefano as the Zerg player in Europe. But here is jjakji. And you can see that his results so far in the World Championship Series are quite heavily favored when he plays against Zerg players. 8 wins and 2 losses. And of course, going up against VortiX here. VortiX, no stranger to having good results against Terran players. In the round of 16, was able to beat out MMA, a champion. MVP, a champion. 11 wins and 2 losses himself against Terran players. And if you look at the momentum of both of these players coming into this, we've got jjakji, as Red Eye mentioned, finished 6th place last year in the Season 3 for WCS Korea. He then changed over into the Europe region, has been dominating tournaments online and offline in the European scene. He's had a massive rise to the top right now in the Europe region. But likewise, VortiX has been climbing throughout all of the WCS in 2013. He was getting better and better and better. And here he is again in a back-to-back 3 times in a row consecutive top 8 finisher in the WCS Europe Premier League. And that is consistency right there.
Yeah, it's actually really interesting. Normally with players, you see them go up and down and up and down. But with VortiX, ever since he got 2nd place at WCS 2012, it's like he's just gone up.
Yeah.
He's had a few bomb outs of tournaments, like 2 early. But if you're a pro gamer, you play the ladder all day. VortiX has probably been top 5 ladder consistently for over a year. That's really amazing. I don't think anyone else can really say that. And he's just done better and better. He climbed the Aligulak rating. He's actually the #1 right now in ZVT in that.
Yep.
So that just shows that, his ZVT has always been amazing. Also because I guess he was playing with his brother Luciferon. And it's by far his best matchup as well. So I think VortiX is probably happy he's playing a Terran, and he's probably looking to really continue that very, very dominant streak against that race.
And I think that may be the case here, but I've asked a lot of other pro gamers who are floating in and out around. There's a lot here with, of course, having the WCS America to be held and played out later on. Every single player I've spoke to, I ask, who do you think's going to win this? And almost all of them, aside from yourself, have said it's too difficult to call. It's actually too difficult to call because both of these players are on the top of their game right now. jjakji has already really shown it in the last couple of months. He finished top 4 in Sao Paulo. He played at the Intellect Stream Masters World Championship in Poland. He played in the Intellect Stream Masters Cologne with 2 top 8 finishes. And then, of course, you got this player who just seems to be unstoppable right now in the Premier League. And with his ability to play any style, any strategy, any build order, while all round being safe against anything that jjakji can do, he seems almost invincible. But we will see who is going to move on to face off against MC in the semi-finals in just a couple of days' time. And as you mentioned, Frost is going to be the first map. So a 4-player map here, but usually the game lengths on Frost are longer than every other map, really, aside from Altazim, which has been vetoed out. This should be a strong, fought-out game to see who is the better player mechanically. And then mind games and other strategies may occur as the series goes on. Spain versus Korea. Mouse Sports against My Insanity, 2 top-tier European teams head-to-head here as we enter the first map of this best-of-5. And up to the top left, playing for My Insanity, representing Korea here in the Europe region, it's jjakji. Looking innocent, but deadly red.
Very deadly. And his opponent equally as deadly in the top right of Frost. It is the Blue Zerg playing for Spain and Mouse Sports. It is VortiX.
And I think a lot of people have been expecting this series to play out well, and there's a lot of anticipation around this one as well. There should be a good series, and we'll see how it can develop from here on out. And one thing that we have to note here is that they have spawned on the same side, or the top half of this map, should I say. In all the Zerg games and Zerg vs Terran games that you've played, how much does this influence the matchup and how this is going to play out?
This is actually quite a big deal. You really want to have cross positions on this map as Zerg, because the problem you have as VortiX in these positions is that where are you going to take your 4th base? You can either take it down to the south, and then the middle is wide open for just the Marine Widowmine train to just run through, or you take it up to the top, and then you could be very close to the Terran's 3rd or 4th base. So it's definitely not the best positions for VortiX to start here, but on the other hand, if you were to do something like an all-in or something with Ro8's base timing play, of course he'd be quicker to the Terran base.
All right, well, we do have the 2 build orders from both players. Command Center first on the high ground here for jjakji, not deciding to open up for the Reaper expansion, which is very common right now, but opting to say, all right, it's a 4-player map, it's a little bit bigger than all. If I'm going to open up Reaper, I'm probably going to have to send an SCV scout out as well to find out where he is. It's not the best economic focus. And he has decided to go for this, so we should be looking for a very macro focus from jjakji, of course. But on the other hand, VortiX, just hatchery first, followed by spawn and pull after.
Yeah, no gas yet. Will be interesting to see when he takes that. One thing to note, though, is that I think jjakji has already been studying, and he remembers his games against VortiX before because he placed that command center on the high ground. He does not want to die to any early cheese, and he knows VortiX pretty well if he wants to play that safe, because that could happen any game. Looks like VortiX has not taken any gas, so he'll probably just go for some kind of 4-queen opening. And this is pretty nice for him. This is probably the best build against CC first. Against Reaper, you might want to get a quicker speed, but this is totally fine against what jjakji is doing.
And VortiX has, as we saw on the left-hand side, seen exactly what he's playing against already, and has hit his overlord to the north here. And from this point is just taking a faster 3rd, a better option here for VortiX, knowing that his opponent is quite a way away from having any aggressive units out.
Yeah, you can't really put a 3rd down right now, because you're still going to have a problem with the Hellions that will come eventually. So he should just go for 2 more queens, start creep spreading.
Oh, look at jjakji's build, a fast 3rd. This is much faster than a regular setup.
This is really, really smart. Like, this is very smart, because VortiX really has no way to really scout this. So this is going to give jjakji a huge boost into the mid game, and I can't tell you how many games I've played on this map where I'm like, wow, how does he have so much stuff right now? And then you look at the replay, it's like, okay. He made 3 command centers before he made anything else. That's why So this is, I really like this build choice from jjakji. I would play this every time.
It is a little bit risky at the same time, though, because despite not seeing any gases, the gases had or could have come down already, and he could be starting to aim towards an aggressive play, considering that you mentioned that they are quite close together if we were to see a Roach or Baneling attack here. And it's still not completely out of the window that we don't actually see this from VortiX, so we've got to keep that in the back of our mind here. What is he going to use that gas for, the double gases on the natural? But You'd think it was for a normal, game, Zergling speed, maybe a Roach Warren for safety, reasons.
And there goes the drone looking to take that third base. Actually, that's a little bit annoying that there's an SCV there. Those queens are going to take quite a while. And look at that, he built an eBay, very cute. And VortiX definitely doesn't want to take the other base. So.
And would you, as the Zerg player now, be, especially with this third being delayed a little bit, would you be worried? What is behind closed doors inside jjakji's base? Is it double factory or something? Is it blue flame? Could it be a really fast combat shield timing? There's lots of different builds that Terran could go for here. And wouldn't you start to be, a little bit worried?
Yeah, I think pretty much at 7 minutes or something like that is when you really want to start poking and see what's happening. Otherwise, like Blue Flame Helium, like you said, can surprise you. But they're Marines
too, and he's getting Overlord speed and a Roach Warren. He's got all the safety tools out already.
I really like the Overlord speed. It's something Hyun likes to do. It means he will be able to find whatever Terran is hiding, but in this case, Terran's not really hiding anything. It's just massing SCVs. So now his upgrades are actually a little bit later than jjakji's. This is looking like a pretty rough start for VortiX so far.
I mean, he's just, I definitely feel that VortiX is playing a little bit worrisome right now, a little bit scared, but jjakji's just done the complete opposite to what VortiX is anticipating. He's played greedy, fast third command center, fast double engineering bay, late added on extra barracks here. Just everything going in favor of jjakji when it comes to the 2 build orders. 4 Roaches, I mean, what are 4 Roaches going to do? They're going to waddle across the other side of the map and not get too much done? Could have been drones. That could have been faster upgrades here.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very safe play from VortiX and very greedy from jjakji. So this happens sometimes in StarCraft, and it's part of the game. And jjakji right here made the right decisions for the build order from the start of the game.
VortiX has just now scouted what's going on. He's seen this greed. Yeah. He's decided to go straight for Zergling speed here. Does he throw down a Baneling nest? Does he try to be aggressive against this?
The Zergling speed is a really interesting choice. I think he's getting it because he just wants to make 5 Roaches and then deal with Hellions. And he does go for the lair and upgrade. So I don't think he's going to all in against this. Also, he still has no real way to know how early that 3rd CC was. But if he actually paid attention to when the Hellions came out, he might know. But at this point, he can't do much about it. So he's just going to have to mass drones and try to weather the storm in the mid game when that explosion of units happens. And if he gets his creep spread going, which so far it's looking quite good, which is the only downside to having later Hellions, then he might actually have a pretty decent chance of fighting this. But the next few minutes are going to be so important. As soon as that starport finish, and jjakji will start attacking.
Yeah, it looks like jjakji did scan there to see if he was about to be attacked or if any structures that would hint towards aggression were there. But he sees drones transferring down to the 3rd base, the Baneling nest at a regular time, double evolution chamber upgrading. So he knows that he's completely safe to play this game on, which wouldn't surprise me if he tried to take his 3rd actually in location now, knowing that there's nothing aggressive coming. And it looks like the command center is on its way. Hellions coming around this right-hand side here.
Yeah, jjakji's going to try to poke around a little bit.
Yeah.
VortiX does have an Overlord there, but he'll have to pay a lot of attention. Probably jjakji is going to use the move where you get the 2 medevacs, which are making now you move out at 11 minutes, then you start harassing somewhere, and then you move the Hellions to a mineral line, try to get a lot of kills. But I think VortiX should be used to this, and right now, he does have enough links to also get Banelings if he needs to. His Baneling speed is on the way, his Spire is on the way, so he has made no real mistakes, and he should be in decent shape to hold this next attack. He's also got quite a nice drone count already, 72.
2-2, really fast in this game, considering, this is a very powerful build that jjakji's done here, and has gotten away for it, and that'll be definitely the back of VortiX's mind for the rest of this. But we do have the first little bit of aggression coming out from jjakji. He's going to move forward with these double medivacs. 4th hatchery's been placed down. Hellions on the right-hand side too, and they're going to bring these units down a little bit here, and he gets 1 good volley onto those Banelings, and that's quite a bit of damage, actually. And here is the drop on that 4th, and now the pressure begins. And as you talked about, this is the big power play that jjakji's really built himself up to. He's clearing creep here, he's baiting around these Hellions on the left-hand side.
Yeah, great for him to cancel that 4th base, really big deal. Now VortiX has to defend his main, looks like he will, but it's quite a Spire's still not done yet, so it's going to be a while until his mutas, and this is just going to be super annoying for VortiX until he does have those mutas.
Well, at least you pointed out earlier, the creep spread is quite healthy in the middle of the map here, but that's definitely going to be a focus point, probably in a couple of seconds here for jjakji to bring that down. It will make his engagement faster and easier to take place, really. But we do see that the Spire has not been scouted, but you can anticipate that jjakji is probably thinking that it's down somewhere. And here comes a movement forward. Can't really scan into that to get rid of the creep tumors. There's a lot of units there, and we do see Bentley speed finish, but a pick up and drop down does keep these units alive. But look at that, look how many units are there.
Yeah, and interestingly enough, he is actually building tanks and continuing to build tanks. So actually there's a lot of debate right now, what unit composition should Terran go for? Is it like Thor Hellbat or still Widowmine? Apparently jjakji thinks it's tanks, and he's getting a second factory.
Do you think that's because he hasn't spotted the Spire and could thought that having Ro8 has been spotted and a lot of Bailings, maybe that would be better for his composition?
Yeah. You're right, he could be expecting a Ro8 Bailing attack,
there's one turret inside the main base. Just a single one.
Yeah, this could do a bit of damage by VortiX, actually. He flies straight in. We'll see that turret will probably back away. But now he can just go for reactors. At the same time, though, his creep is getting cleared up, which is a huge problem.
All right, so VortiX has a lot of units on the other side of the map here in those Mutalisks. He's going to have to come back, but this has allowed jjakji to get a very favorable position on creep. He's eliminated a lot of it. He's got the tanks there, and that is quite a lot of bio. The supply count very healthy here for jjakji. And you can see by the army supply numbers, it is favored towards jjakji here. And VortiX is going to go in and going to take a fight here. The tanks need to target down these buildings. They do come crashing in. And it's a decent fight, but there's still a lot of Marines left. And VortiX gets pushed back here. jjakji with a very strong, and look at the minimap, a very strong engagement, but a very strong support line for this as well.
Yeah, and 2-2 is done now, and VortiX 2-2 is not. So 12 Marines at a time. Terran being this close to this is going to be super hard for VortiX to hold off. He's going to have to do it while there's still quite a bit of creep left, but it's not going to be there for long.
Yeah, he has to go soon, otherwise it's going to get harder and harder to fight off creep. A nice pick off of that Widowmine with these Mutalisks. The income's getting better for VortiX now. He does have that fourth base, but this is going to prove difficult. There's not that many Banelings here. An additional 8 being warped in, or should I say morphed in. That's a lot of units in the middle here, but VortiX does have a high supply. And he needs to take the perfect fight here. Creep is disappearing, and he's setting up a big arcade. Look in the minimap. You can see one big blue blob to the left, the second one to the right here, and he is going to come in from multiple sides, buying his time. And here we go. There's not that many Marines there if you actually look around, but there's a big chunk of them down to the bottom right, and that is not where the Banelings are. They do get a decent couple of connections and then pick up his force. And it looks like jjakji will have to run out of here, and that's a good fight for VortiX.
Yeah, that was a very nice fight. All of his mutas are still alive. He's pushed back jjakji, and actually, because they are so close, he might actually have a counter window attack. And he is pushing forward and killing off more and more Marines. This is getting very, very dangerous for jjakji.
46
If he gets overwhelmed
circles.
even once, then the injects are just going to keep rallying in, but it looks like he will be able to push this back.
He will push that back for now, but surprised that the Marine count was so low there as he came in, considering his opening in the overall setup. Looks like the Mutalisk did distract him quite a bit and slow that unit count for a while.
I think jjakji just stayed on creep a little bit too much. Like, the fight was just creep from all sides, so it was very hard for him. He's still in a fine position, though. Does he have a fourth command center? No, he actually doesn't. So that's a little bit dangerous. He should be looking to take a fourth right around this time. Maybe he just plays this 3cc build as a 3-base timing all-in because it does have more units than usual.
Yeah.
But there's a 4cc, and his 3-3 is almost done already, which is like maybe the fastest 3-3 ever.
Yeah, he's definitely put the brakes on here, hasn't he? He's going to wait for his 3-3. He needs to sit back defensive. He just doesn't have that many units right now. And despite fighting off creep is always good for him, he just simply doesn't have the numbers. But VortiX does, so we're going to have a bit of change in momentum here. And it looks like VortiX is the one coming down. A lot of the units for jjakji a little bit out of position. He does come down to defend it, but the Mutalisk doing a lot of damage into this SCV line, as you can see. And here comes another fight. And oh, a big Widowmine hit on the right-hand side there. Gets a large chunk of those Banelings. And this is a pretty good defense. But overall, I don't see any SCVs on that third base, and a lot were slaughtered there. Yeah. But was the trade-off good there for VortiX? The numbers are starting to tell me so.
I think it was really good because he stayed ahead 20 supply and he took out 30 SCVs. If he stays alive and he's making more Banelings, he didn't lose any mutas really, which is like his expensive unit. He looks to be in good shape. His fourth base is not threatened at all during this. He has no pressure on him right now whatsoever. He's even got creep back on his third base. Need to stress that a little bit more, but there's a drop going on in the natural, and VortiX needs to deal with this fast. Looks like he will.
Well, despite jjakji not having the numbers now, the Mutalisik is still harassing the third base, but jjakji does have 3-3, which does favor any engagement he takes, and we are starting to see that push forward, and that is a very powerful army. A lot of Widowmine spread here, and VortiX is going to have to fight this properly. And he's going to come in from multiple sides here. jjakji not paying full attention. The Widowmines get some decent hits. The Mutalisik come back, and this is cleaned up. A fantastic engagement there from VortiX.
VortiX just crushes that. That looks so scary with 3-3, but VortiX says no problem and just cleans it up. And
supplies, though, look at it, quite similar.
Yeah, I think quite a few drones. Yeah, 15 drones have died since that that engagement at the third. So jjakji has done a little bit back to VortiX, but still 70 drones left. The fourth command center needs to go right now.
A lot of Widow Mines down there that can do a lot of damage. If that fourth command center gets up and running, which, you know, VortiX is moving over there to prevent that from happening, and Overlord to spread creep, Mutilus to kill anything that's there, then problems will start to occur for VortiX. Because remember, right now, his unit composition, the unit composition itself is good, but the upgrades all...
That's so unfortunate when that happens. You forget to clean up the Widow Mines after a fight.
Yeah, this 3-3 quality is going to pay a massive difference in the next fight that they take. We do see the Hive on the way, and also Carapace coming in for the Mutilus, but quite a while until we can actually see VortiX utilize the Hive in this game.
And look at this command center is actually in danger right now. There's a few Marines and Widow Mines. It was actually kind of low, but if jjakji gets this up, it means he gets a whole new base of minerals, so he can keep doing this for a lot longer.
And he has a massive window before VortiX can really do anything, because they're going to be fighting on this stage for quite a while. And oh, that was a nice pullback from VortiX. If he'd gone any further, those Widow Mines would have gone boom, boom, boom. We do see a nice little attack down here from jjakji, somehow being able to squeeze this in past the Xel'Naga Tower range.
He actually flew all the way around.
That tree goes down. This is a massive. This is huge.
Yeah.
This is absolutely massive. The Mulis are coming in to stop it, but it's not going to happen. A really, really big pick-off by just 6 Marines.
Yeah, and this is what can happen in late game ZVT. If you lose a base once, and the Terran has a fourth, your income is gone.
Yeah.
The next few minutes for VortiX is going to be really, really tough.
This is really difficult. He's not even at the Hive yet. Ideally, he wants to upgrade further to get his own 3-3, Adrenal Glands, maybe Ultralist, but he's far away from this, so if jjakji just maxes out, gets the 200 supply himself and takes a fight, it's going to be looking pretty good. Unfortunately, this one does get picked off there for jjakji, but he's going to fight in a second, Red, and this is going to be a very difficult one for VortiX to stop.
Yeah, VortiX basically needs a perfect engagement on creep to deal with this, but he does get a nice bunch of SCVs kills here. Nothing is here to defend. It's going to take a while to get back. Look how many mutas that are. It's like
32?
32 units. It's actually getting pretty scary. Like, it's almost enough where if Terran attacks you, you can just run into their main, stop auto production and base trace.
And there's even Thors added into the mix with Marauders too, just a really difficult composition for VortiX to fight into. But the problem is, it doesn't matter how difficult it is, you've got to do it. You've got to do it, Sunshine. He's going to have to fight soon. And here comes the push forward. 200 supply. VortiX trying to buy himself time. Bring him back again. Get the Mulis in there. Buy himself time. The upgrades are coming. I don't think he's going to get there, though. VortiX comes back to defend once again.
Yeah, I'm really scared he's going to have to fight these stores before his upgrades, and it's so hard because there's a lot of Marauders too, there's a lot of Widow Mines, there's a lot of everything.
Really position too up there.
Yeah, he's going to be able to deny this mining, and if VortiX just run up here, he's going to have to take a really hard fight because the Thors are going to be able to block the entrance, and then Bailings, where do you go? Oh,
well, he's going to take the fight. He's going to take the fight up there. And he goes in and he gets immediately pushed back. There's too many Widow Mines, there's too many units. He can't fight up this ramp.
Yeah. It's like, Thors are very hard to fight to begin with. If they're in this position, what can you do? And another drop, taking out that 5th base, and now VortiX looks to be falling apart a little bit. He's going to have one big fight left in him.
Does he wait for his upgrades, or does he go before? I mean, there's no really reason to not wait now, is it? I mean, he's lost his mining bases. Well, he wants to take the best fight possible.
The thing is, if you have income, you can go, because then you can replace. But now, he can't go, because he can't replace his army if he loses it, but he can't really, what does he do? It's a really hard position right now. He's going to try to harass the 3rd base, which is a nice choice.
Yeah.
Just give up that 4th and just wait until jjakji steps on creep once.
And then make a really good fight.
And make a perfect engagement. That's how he can win this game.
All right, well, a couple of Widow Mines do pick off one Mutilus there, but not the biggest of deals. Managed to pick off a couple of SCVs too, but it's all going to come down to how is VortiX going to take the next fight, because without the income, as you say, there's no way he's rebuilding the losses that he's actually taken at the moment, or not fast at least anyway. Trying to rebuild this 5th base or 4th base, whatever you want to call it now.
Yeah, but it's so poor. There's so many drones. Like, he's trying to retake this. He's not retaking his 4th. It's so hard for him. If he takes the one all the way to the bottom, he gets dropped all the time.
Yeah. And it's not like he can force a fight off creep either, because then he'd be taking a huge disadvantage in the fight. So it's a really difficult position for VortiX. As we see, jjakji, knowing the position he's in, 5th command center on the way, no problem. Going to take the base to the south soon. And another nice move here by VortiX.
But another drop on the 5th as well at the same time. So this might get cancelled again if he's unlucky.
Oh, just as it finishes too. Absolutely painful there for VortiX. And that one's going to sting. But his upgrades are about to complete, and he's got a single Ultralist in the mix, so I'm not too sure how that's going to actually fare. Uh-oh. Ooh, that was close. That was close. The Widow Mine's almost detonated now.
He will save the hatch as well, which is a very nice win for him. It will give him a little bit more income until another medevac comes by, which it looks like there's already one on the way. Poor VortiX, he doesn't get left alone at all. He might want to consider investing in like 20 spines and 20 spores.
I don't think he can do that with the money he's got, right? Let's be honest here. All right, there's the Terran army looking for the fight to take. And once again, VortiX comes down to left. He does have +3 attack and +1 carapace, if I'm not mistaken, so his Mulists are pretty good. And that's a decent move here from these Banelings. And VortiX doing every small little thing he can do, a couple of SCVs here and there. But the problem still remains is he doesn't quite have, I don't know, the army, but I suppose he could have the engagement, which is what you kind of said earlier.
Yeah, it looks like we might have it soon. VortiX should definitely stay on the creep like he is doing. I'd be really scared if he ran away, but that 5th base got cancelled for the 4th time.
And jjakji's got his own 5th up now too, so it's just getting worse and worse and worse. When that turns into a planetary fortress and a couple of SCVs down there, then the income's going to be quite scary here. It's not too bad right now, as you can see. VortiX has done a rather good job, actually, of clearing up a lot of SCVs. These Mucilists are absolutely frustrating here for jjakji, and they do swing in once again.
VortiX definitely showing that he can play a very strong late game with Muta Harass everywhere. And he's still in this, actually. He's mining again on his 4th. His 5th is coming back up.
He's 4 Ultralisks. That's not bad now. He's starting to climb up, and he has got his upgrades, as we talked about.
Yeah, it really feels like jjakji's been spending the last 5 minutes just aimlessly running after Mutalisks and not really getting anything done. And he's now in danger of handing VortiX a window back into this game. Looks like actually these Widow Mines are moving so strangely in the middle, but if he could catch those, that'd be huge.
Well, the Mutalisks once again get into that SCV line, and they're going to start going into the main base here. And VortiX is going to pull jjakji all the way back to his main while trying to establish these new bases. And
there's also a drop on the 4th at the same time. Like, this is the problem of VortiX in the last 5 minutes. He's been harassing everywhere, but because his mutas are gone. Oh, the Thors.
Oh, he's trapped the Mutalisks here. Can he get them properly? Are they going to escape? The Mutalisks, they're stuck right now. They're going to have to fight 3-3 Marines, and oh my god, they are... Oh, I'm scared for these Mutalisks. They're dying very, very fast.
And there's a Thor there as well, so this is so scary.
He's got stuck.
He's only got 21 left now. He must have lost.
Oh, he's out. He's managed to escape here. And VortiX is going to escape with these, but also he's found this 5th base and he's going to get right into this.
Yeah, this is a really nice move. Taking out this PF with no units nearby means all his ultras can get away. And now jjakji is on 1 mining base left, so now
SCVs.
I don't know how VortiX has done this somehow with just mutas, but this jjakji is not max, jjakji is not rich.
Yeah.
jjakji does have a sick army composition. He's got 6 Thors.
Yeah, and he's going to fight now, and I don't think VortiX can run any longer around with these Mutalisks. They don't have quite the impact they did earlier on. He's lost quite a few of them. He's lost about 12 of them, actually. And well, here comes jjakji, and he's going to set up this fight. Is VortiX going to be able to take this wisely here? He doesn't want to... That's not wise, that's not good, that's very bad.
But this is so scary, though, because he's fully on creep, and every Zerg unit is going to be so efficient. These Banelings need to get good hits and not Widow Mine hits.
The Widow Mines bring out quite a lot of them, but the Baneling's still alive, and it's going to get cleaned up here, I think, by VortiX. It's very close. The Ultra's getting right up and close and personal, and he's pushed this backward.
Look at the supply. It's so even. They're 20 supply apart.
These 4 Ultralisks and Mutalisks cannot be answered for right now.
That's true. That's a very scary army. Those mutas, well, it's not that many mutas anymore, thank God, for jjakji 10. But
6 Marauders, 60 Marines here, and Mutalisks cannot fight these turrets anymore.
The income for both is so low. If VortiX had another base, he would be in a really good position, but right now they're both on 1 mining base, and jjakji will try to take that 5th once again. This is going to be a battle for extra bases.
Be taken. Yeah, that base cannot be taken.
It can be.
And he's actually going to float it down further left here, and that actually could work out well for him if it doesn't get spotted here. If he goes, oh, he's going to go back with the Mutalisks. Oh, jjakji opting not to take the closer one. They're a little bit further away, while dropping at the same time. And this is actually really big, because if that actually base gets to mine from, he will climb up in supply.
Yeah, the mutas are all going to the top, and now there's another dropship once again going to the south. And
nice
VortiX
moves.
is far away. But he is coming back now, so he might be able to keep this base just for once.
It's a lot of it. Do you think that Infestors would be the right units to add into the composition, considering the gas count that he's got? Or not worth it?
If you look at the gas, I think it's pretty much the right choice. In any situation where you have a few minerals, you might not want to make them. But here it would be really good, actually. In a low economy game, if you had Burrow, you could do sick things with them if you watch the Cat stream from time to time.
And especially having these Ultralisks, if he can clamp on the army, which isn't going to be really that big, then of course he could get maximum damage here. But this command center has just really snuck around the left-hand side there, and unfortunately, that's going to be mine from VortiX. And you can start to tell by the supply differences. That command center alone is pushing jjakji further and further into... Look at what's actually being built. 2 Widow Mines, Thor, Marine Marauders, compared to 12 Lings and a Mutalisk.
Yeah, that's the power of mules, and we've seen it in so many games. And VortiX, the one mistake he made this game, he has pretty much no vision whatsoever on the south side of the map. It's bit him in the ass many times. And if this base can keep being muled, then suddenly there's a maxed army, and VortiX will be like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, that's and here is actually first-person shot actually of jjakji. He's got his drop down to the bottom right, and he's in a really good position right now, just climbing up in supply. The Mutalists still haven't found that base, and we do see another expansion down to the bottom right here. Is that where his force is going to be? It looks like he's moving his army south here, going to clean up that overlord, and that's actually a bit of a trick, really, because it does kind of tell jjakji that he's looking to take, or tell VortiX he's looking to take that new fourth. But
this is a sick army from jjakji, and there's no creep around those bases whatsoever.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a super rough fight. That base will go down instantly. And VortiX, he wants to flank again like he did before, but there's no creep this time, so I'm very scared.
Left hand side, there's mines everywhere. There's mines absolutely everywhere here, and a couple of pretty decent detonations. Not the best, but there's even more mines down to the bottom right here. And he's fighting. Oh, that was big. That was a big one. And jjakji's just walking over this at the moment. He's got Marines fighting the Mutalists on the right-hand side. He's got more and more reinforcements coming. It looks like he's broken VortiX, and a completely back-and-forth game here between these two players. Is jjakji going to power through? He's taking down these bases. He's got quite a few units walking across the map. And VortiX is dropping in supply. He's got no income whatsoever, and there's mines here. There's a lot of Marines. I don't even know if there's an Ultralist left. There's a couple of Mutalists in the sky, and they're going to get stimmed and chased out. There's only Zerglings and Mutalists.
And VortiX is not mining. He can't make anything. And jjakji still has that nice little mule base. So this is it. This is it. It's over for VortiX.
Yeah, this can't be stopped anymore. He's only got one base. He finds the base to the bottom left, and you can only imagine. He's like, no! Yeah, if I knew about this as it was landing, then it would have been a different scenario, but that is not the case here. A scan ahead of time here, a little bit forward, is going to reveal no banelings, no threat, no worry, and he is just going to jump to the main base here, and he's going to take this game. And jjakji and VortiX play out what we wanted to see. A fantastic display of StarCraft by both players.
Very good.
Goes in favor of the Korean.
Very impressive long game there by VortiX and jjakji. I apologize if my commentary was a bit one-sided. Like, I really thought VortiX couldn't lose, but he just showed like such amazing patience. He didn't force any fights out of himself. He just waited all the time until jjakji was nicely on creep, and jjakji may have thought he was in an advantageous position, like when his 3-3 was finishing, and all those big attacks he did. And every time he stepped on creep, he just got flanked to oblivion. So VortiX really doing that very well, playing a very complete, well-rounded macro game. The only thing, and I think it may have cost him the game, which was not having overlords on the south side of the map. Because if he one time saves that base instead of losing it, he's able to overwhelm jjakji right after that, because they were even like the whole time.
I suppose you can also, you know, look at jjakji and say that's a decent counter to Mulis always harassing him, because they're not stopping Medivacs down the bottom right too. And unless VortiX splits the Mulis up, then he isn't capable of doing both, attacking and defending.
Yeah, and VortiX really also had no choice there. He was behind.
Yeah, he had
to use his mutas. Like, it's like the stage of the game where you're like, okay, I have to force something. I can't fight you off creep, so I'm gonna pay full attention to my mutas and do as much damage as possible, and then you're wide open to drops. So
if you think about the time that the Mulis brought VortiX in that game, he basically bought time from the Hive starting to the upgrades finishing. That's a long time.
Yeah, really, it is a very long time, and it was amazing. Like, we just kept talking about the Mutalisk, and if you think about it, the whole time jjakji was not doing anything except those little drops. So he bought himself so much time in that game. If he can get on a more even footing in a game where the positions matter a bit less, because those positions are very Terran favored, then he's looking really good. He looked really good that game.
All right, 1-0 to jjakji. Time for map number 2 now between these two players, and we are going to Habitation Station, a map that you should be quite familiar with. It's been around for a while now. And up here to the top right of this map is the red Terran player playing for my insanity. It's jjakji. 1-0 up, a very good display. A little bit of greed there. Got to remember that the start did power him up quite nicely.
Yeah, and his also very well playing opponent, the Spanish Zerg, it is VortiX. But yeah, you just mentioned it. Going back to the start of the game, that 3cc. If I play against jjakji, he goes 3cc. The game doesn't look like that. VortiX really played that very strongly. If you looked at the mid game at any given point, you wouldn't really be able to tell. Like, yeah, Terran was super greedy in this game. So, got to give props to him for dealing with that quite well.
Good fights, good creep spreads. Just overall good Zerg play. If we're going to see, which we aren't, I was going to say if we see Command Center first. On this map, I have seen VortiX game after game after game just instantly punish it. But we are going to see a 12 barracks here. And will, of course, not will, of course, not be followed by a gas. It's going to be one Barracks Command Center.
Really? One Barracks Command Center, that's something you don't really see much anymore. I think the Reaper follow-up should be better all the time, but you can, when you do this...
No. Second Barracks, Ret.
Yeah.
Thrown in down to the bottom right here.
Good thing that VortiX... Wow, no. VortiX was drone scouting, went to the watchtower and went back.
Yeah,
so he's not going to
Rex.
know. His Overlord is not going to find this second barracks. But honestly, if I play on ladder, like someone going 1 Rex Command Center, I actually get mad because I tell them, hey, this build is bad.
But is that going to go through VortiX's mind? Is he going to be thinking something like this?
It would be extremely... I would think he could actually tell the future if he was able to tell that this is a 2 Rex just from seeing the 1 Rex.
I mean, he's got to be careful not to lose his Overlord in the first place, right?
Yeah, he's got to be very careful about that. He's going to go behind. I don't think he's going to... Wow. It's a 3rd barracks.
What?
This is a very special build that I don't think we've seen before. Do you think... What if he goes up to 6 barracks and pulls the TLO?
I think he goes 3 barracks and pulls all his SCVs.
Do you remember that game?
I do remember
TLO
that game,
against
actually.
Idris, 6 barracks, 1 base.
Look at this. This Overlord is just about going to get away, but the most important part of this Overlord getting away is that he can look at the command center, or lack of command center, and maybe piece this together. Let's just find out where that Overlord goes. You shouldn't really want to go too far, so it's going to be traced, but he pokes in, and you've got to be here at this point at 4 minutes in the game saying, wait a minute.
Yeah. Now he must be like, what is going on? What could it be?
He's going to lose the Overlords.
But he already saw that there was no CC.
Yeah,
so if there's no CC, what is it? Is it a CC at the gold? I don't think so. It could be,
barracks.
but
4th barracks.
yeah, this will be 6 barracks. this happened 3 years ago.
But what
already.
is VortiX doing to actually deal with this? He's got no gas taken. He's adding on 4 queens, which is all fine and dandy, but is 4 queens going to be really good against a lot of Marines? And I'm just going to, imagine there's going to be a bunch of SCVs too, so...
Yeah, and this is even more confusing because normally an attack would already have happened.
All right, big question. Does he know? Did he actually click when he saw no command center? Did he know? Or was he like, it's probably just I didn't quite see it.
He doesn't know. Well, now there's a spine. Okay, he knows. There's a spine.
Yeah.
He knows. He must, if he stops this perfectly and like starts adding like 2, 3 more spines now, then he holds, but...
All right.
Oh, well, did he see that?
Choo-choo! SUV time! Second spine incoming. Here we go, jjakji. And he is coming for a 2-0 at this moment, and it's all down to VortiX to stop it. That is a lot of SCVs with this.
Yeah, and he's making drones, and there's only 2 spines. This is brutal. This is gonna rip through these spines like a knife through butter. It's gonna be not pretty at all for VortiX.
And all of a sudden, the VortiX hype train is coming to an immediate halt because jjakji is about to, or looking at, a 2-0. The Queens are off creep. The SCVs are going to go straight for them. They managed to get on at the last second here, but are you really going to stop all of this?
He has to pull the drones from the main as well immediately. This is gonna be so rough, and the spine goes down.
Yeah, Marines untouched at the back there. The SCVs are the human meat shields, or the metal meat shields for this, and that kind of makes no sense.
They're the drones from the main though, so now it's a big fight, and there's 4 queens left. But no, these queens are going to go down so fast.
Yeah,
the drones are in an unfavorable position.
10 lings, Marines in fantastic position here as well. Not looking ideal here for VortiX. He's dropping his supply. The Marines are being microed and stutter-stepped backward perfectly. The SCVs get in there, and jjakji says, what's up? 2-0. You the favorite? Yeah, right, okay.
Yeah, that was a bit rough. That was so smart by jjakji. I think it shines through a little bit that he's a former GSL player. He is very experienced when it comes to preparing for a single series, if he has the time. And that was so clever. That was, like, the only way for VortiX to stop that is to instantly make the click when he doesn't see the command center.
So did he or did he not know? Why?
Nah, he didn't know. Or
like
he wouldn't have died.
And I mean, it was like he kind of thought something could happen, but didn't know exactly what. It was like 1 spine, and then he saw a couple of Marines coming out, so he's like, I guess I'll get a second one.
Yeah, it must have been hell for him. And jjakji, if you think about it, first game, 1 Rex 3 CC, second game this. What's next? It's going to be something abusive, I think. He's been showing, well, I shouldn't say abusive, but very clever.
And I think if we were to look at who these players are in the all-time StarCraft, if we look at jjakji, he's a GSL champion, he's played in GSL, he was 6th in WCS Korea, and remember that he has a lot more experience in playing in these type of environments than VortiX does. VortiX is a player over the years who's played in tournaments with best of 3s, he's won online stuff, and he hasn't really, compared to the experience of jjakji, had the similar experiences in preparing, getting ready, knowing exactly what you're going to do game 1, 2, 3, and more. And I think that's what the Koreans will always have in a lot of these scenarios, you think?
Yeah, I think they definitely have the advantage. Like, all their esports throughout the years has been like that. And now VortiX has another really hard decision to make, because he's normally the guy who can surprise you with cheeses. But what kind of guy is he when he's down 0-2 and he has to win 3 in a row?
Yeah, that's,
he either puts it all on the line and just starts playing like some all-in builds to get back into it, or he's gonna have this super tough road of like, okay, I want a macro because I'm better at macro and play safe, and then jjakji might just take advantage of that all over again.
From one extreme to the other, and now we prepare ourselves for map number 3 between these two players. It is going to be Daedalus Point, a map that some of you play, some of you don't, for your own reasons. And up here, spawning to the top left-hand side of Daedalus Point, playing is the red Terran, playing for my insanity. It's jjakji! Playing this out very, very well so far.
And here's the guy that I'm currently feeling for very much, because he's had such a hard time so far in these 2 games. But let's see if he can turn it around. It's the blue Zerg, VortiX. This is also such a hard 3rd map to get into, Daedalus Point, after those 2 games, because this is one of those tricky maps. Terran actually could legitimately go 1-Rex CC on here and kill the Overlord, just to keep you in the dark. But so far from jjakji, we are just seeing, I think we're just going to see a Reaper, probably. Probably back to maybe a bit more standard. And actually, a gas and a pool, not a pool yet, but there will be a pool.
VortiX is putting a stop to this right away. This is a massive change up here, and this is something we don't see too common here. Gas, then spawning pool, Zergling speed, Banelings.
Yeah, nah, actually what I think it's going to be is it's just going to be speed and drones.
Yeah? You think he's going to play some hashtag mind games?
You actually are right, because this will be mind games, because he did 1-pool Bane jjakji already in a previous series. But actually, this is a build that's kind of came back after Terran started going Reaper every single game. And you can just make a Queen to defend the Reaper, get 2 Zerglings out on the map, try to cancel the CC, and then just make drones. And then you're actually in a fine position, even if the Terran were to go 3 CC. So it's actually, I like that he's playing this. I quite like it. It gives you map control, gives you initiative, and it keeps your opponent in the dark for a long time.
All right, well, let's follow what VortiX has planned. There is the takeoff of the drones here. You are a professional gamer, and you are good at what you do, Ret. So there is the drones taken off, so Zergling speed alone, and we'll be following this up with an expansion shortly. Reaper is going to be a little bit surprised here, of course, when he gets over the other side of the map, getting pushed back immediately. And first of all, is he going to get the spot of... I mean, he'll see the late hatchery, won't he? I suppose that should be able to tell him enough.
He's gonna see, he's gonna know. The big thing is, these 2 links will try to get the command center. If jjakji should be able to save that normally, the 2nd Reaper will be done, and he can pull back the SCV. But from here, I think the decision to go for this build on this map is so great, because the ramp is obviously so big.
Can he stop the command center overall? Can he stop it from completing and prevent the lift?
If he
slows... Well, he hasn't got links out, though, has he? So...
The problem is he'd have to make like 20 links. If you only make like 10, the Reaper can just micro up and down. But this is really scary. He can't lose this Reaper. He really can't lose this Reaper right now.
Yeah, this is really big, actually, and he's going to lose this Reaperette. Yeah. It's going to get trapped in the corner. The Queen needs to get back on creep. He's going to start regenerating here.
Oh, actually... Yeah, he gets away.
But speed's about to finish, so maybe not. Maybe not.
He won't get away. But he did see valuable information. He saw there was no extra gas being mined.
Yeah.
So now it's up to jjakji. What he should probably make a bunker. Because if VortiX went right now, it's actually a really interesting point what you said, if you can cancel at the command center. I'm going to test it out at home.
I think if you escape with 2 links, defend with 2, slow it down initially, and then slow it down again when speed is done. Either way, so we are going to see the Reaper get picked off here, but we don't see a heavy commitment to Zerglings here. But of course, in jjakji's mind, he's like, what the hell is going on? This is nuts. And is, of course, going to sit back a little bit. He's got 1 Reaper back at home. He may have to lift up in a second when this orbital command finishes. And we do see Starport's 2 gases taken by jjakji, so he's going over to Cloak Banshees.
So that's clearly a reaction to this opening from VortiX, where he is likely to expect some kind of follow-up all-in, because it's not an economical build. But that's the beauty of this build. You can just mass drones, and look, he's already 4 ahead. He can just mass drones and be really ahead and be like in a very similar position he would be normally if he 15 hatched.
Oh, he's got some counter-attack lings, some sneaky, cheeky Zerglings up there, Rhett, because as these Hellions come up and approach, he's going to swing around, and if he does get a little bit lucky with this, considering he doesn't really know exactly when the Hellions are going to be at all points.
He's got an Overlord as well right next to the starport, which is great for him. He's going to be able to see that so fast.
He hasn't seen it yet, though, has he? I don't think. I think we just saw a bit of a clip there. He's seen something, but not. That could be a barrack still, technically. The Lings do try to get into the natural, but unfortunately, that little bit of a risk didn't work out. I mean, he's got one SCV there by the looks of it, so, you know, better than nothing, but could have been a little bit luckier. But he hasn't seen. He's going to see it now. Okay.
Yeah, he's going to see it, and he's already got 3 queens at the front. And he's making a 4th one at his natural, so he's going to have tons of queens.
But look how far his lair is away. He's going to have to put spores in strategical positions.
He needs a lot of spores. He needs 1 in the main, 1 in the natural, then 1 out front, defending the creep, and then 1 at the 3rd base. And this is also a good map for Hellion Banshee because, as you can see, there's a huge open area right outside the 3rd base for VortiX, and with good micro, Hellion Banshee can kill enormous amount of lings.
Infinite amount of
lings.
Some may say. All right, creep spread pushing down now. This is actually very important to have the creep out here and doesn't want to get any of those denied ideally. And here comes the Hellions and Banshees. 4 queens is pretty nice, especially considering they do have quite a bit of energy saved up. The Banshee's coming around the left-hand side here. 1 spore gets 1 hit off. There is a 2nd spore there, so this is going to be defended quite well. And of course, that's a lot of time lost that Banshee could be doing stuff down here with these Hellions, which are doing a decent job. And he's going to have to transfuse that one, and he does.
Nice. He waited until the very last moment there. There is the Cloak Banshee, though. This queen might be in trouble. 1 more.
Oh, well done so far here. Lings are there to support as well. 1 queen. Nope. Transfuse again. Very good defense here from VortiX. May want to lift that spore probe and put it down on creep.
He gets 3 Hellions, and there's 2 very low. So that was a very good defense so far. Now it's time for VortiX to go back to droning. He was a little bit behind on drones because he had to make so much static defense and queens.
But a good defense.
But yeah, perfect defense. He barely lost. He didn't lose any drones, right?
Yeah.
That's really what you want.
Well, he's lost none. He's lost none. That's perfect. And behind this double engineering rate, of course, from jjakji will be playing bio. He's not a mechanical player. 1 queen does go down, though, so he has got 1 little bit of a win. 2nd one down as well. And that now makes these Banshees powerful.
This is, yeah, losing 2 queens make this really dangerous, especially with that many Hellions. This is rough for VortiX. He's got to make more links once again.
Yeah.
But he also needs drones, because jjakji's got a 3rd CC and he's got his upgrades going, and jjakji tries to go in.
And not enough
dies.
energy for a transfuse there. Banshee dies, but did pick off 1 queen, and a couple of Hellions do trade off that. I think that was probably in favor of VortiX, to be honest.
Oh, and another queen. Yes, it will go down. That's really unfortunate. Like, losing 4 queens total is what turned from a perfect defense, turned it into an okay defense. Now he's got a problem with his creep spread, though. He doesn't really have a lot.
Yeah.
He didn't have his 3rd base saturation going, so he doesn't have like an economic boom right now. And
I mean, if you were to assess this, which player is a little bit in the lead compared to the other? You favor VortiX here?
It's really hard to say. I still want to give it to VortiX just because of the upgrades, and he's back up to 63 drones now. So I think he's in a position comparable to maybe jjakji in the 1st game where he took a small lead.
But I think something you did bring up now is the creep spread, which has been stopped through these queens, is actually on this map, I suppose, incredibly important to support the 4th base on the right-hand side because it's so far, especially considering that jjakji's main attack pathway is going to be cross-map there.
Exactly, it's going to be straight down to the 4th base of VortiX, and normally you want to get creep up there as fast as possible, but he's got no creep tumors going that way, so actually with his creep this way, he might want to consider taking another 4th base, because that's going to be really hard once the Medivacs and the Marine Parade comes.
Can he really take the base on the left, though? Can he really do that? Considering, you know, jjakji's going to be expanding down this left-hand side anyway. It could be a difficult call to make that one, and there's already a Banshee floating around there that would be difficult to get rid of.
But one of the things that I really like in this game is taking both. And then whichever one gets attacked first, you just abandon that and you go for the other one. Because then, first of all, you give the Terran the idea that they cancel the 4th.
Yeah, a little bit like Belshire Vestige. If you remember back then, you used to kind of take both on the left and right-hand side. Well, he's taking the right-hand side for now anyway, but definitely needs creep spread up there. He hasn't got any up that ramp yet at all.
Yeah, he could cut straight to the middle, where he does have a few tumors, and then try to fight there. But it looks like jjakji is ready to push right now. And this is,
we only have, well, actually, no, sorry, we have 8 Banelings there. That's actually not too bad for this. So he's got to be careful of the target fire from the Hellions, and that's actually a very good target fire there. And the Hellions are doing a lot of damage. The Banelings are dying already before they even connect to the Marines. And this is actually rather bad that they're chasing them down. There's only a couple of Banelings left. And they're going to go in. That's not ideal. That's not
there's
ideal
too many
at all.
Marines left right now, and the mutas are taking fire, and all of a sudden VortiX has nothing at all to defend this, and he's gonna have to fight with drones,
Great use of the Hellions there from the beginning to using them there, and now the drones are fighting for this, and that's it. That is going to be game. Just the Hellions targeting down the Banelings. 3-0.
It's a few Hellion shots and that's all over. Like just like that, 3-0. jjakji did not waste a second.
So for VortiX, who went 2-0 versus MMA and 2-0 versus MVP in the round of 16, has just got smashed by jjakji. 3-0.
Yeah, this is so sad for him. He showed such a nice first game. He showed such great games in the past, and 20 minutes later, here we are. He's out. It's over.
Yeah.
Not until next season. And yet another season, I have this feeling like we saw a glimpse of the great VortiX we could have,
but couldn't
all
connect
the time.
all the results together.
But you know, jjakji, he's just a beast. Like you have to respect him. He's just he's so good. He played so smart. He totally played VortiX and played the fact that VortiX probably had confidence, because like VortiX going for the overlord speed, trying to scout, getting the roaches and all that, and playing those standard macro games, trying to go for the late game, but jjakji just had none of it and just gave VortiX a nice little lesson in Korean efficiency.
Yes, he did a very well-prepared, mapped-out series from jjakji, and he finishes it like he wanted to. 3-0 to the Korean, and he moves on. And I think that we can all say together now that were you really at home as fans looking at jjakji saying, yeah, he's my favorite to win the whole thing? No, not really. I think you were maybe looking at Stardust, San, VortiX, MMA, but now you have to start to question, is jjakji a threat to the title here in Europe for the Premier League?
Yeah, no question about it. His TVP is insane. He's got MC next. So he's got everything going for him to go all the way. And taking out VortiX was probably the first big step. And from now on, jjakji is going to get more and more comfortable because his best matchup is TVP.
Yeah.
So
that's definitely going to be a fantastic semi-final, that one will be. Well, thank you for joining us here on the casting desk. We're going to head over to Ro8 with the winner's interview.
Thank you very much, gents. Yes, I am with jjakji right now. Congratulations. An amazing 3-0 victory. Just explain to me what's going through your mind right now.
지금 머릿속에 무슨 생각을 하고 있죠?
볼틱스 선수가 너무 요즘 테란전을 잘해가지고 좀 고전을 예상했는데 그래도 두 번째 맵에서 준비한 빌드가 너무 좋아서 첫 번째 판만 이기면 3대0으로 이길 것 같았어요.
Okay. He said that I feel, my opponent is a great Terran player, and so I was a little bit worried coming into it, but I figured if I win that first game, I knew I was going to be able to 3-0 it.
Okay, great Zerg player. Great Zerg player. I heard you say it's fine. Before you come into a match like this, you obviously prepare. Did everything go exactly the way you thought it would go in terms of the way the game's played out?
오기 전에 되게 많이 준비를 했지만 지금 예상한 대로 다 됐는지 궁금해요.
이번에 그 16강전 끝나고 좀 여유가 있어서 푹 쉬었는데 좀 너무 푹 쉬어서 연습이 좀 충분치 않았어요. 그래서 머릿속으로만 자꾸 계속 생각했는데 그 머릿속으로 그린 대로 잘 된 것 같아요.
He said actually after the round of 16 I thought I had a bit of time, so I rested and I didn't really practice, but I think I rested a little too much, and but he went over the builds in his head and he feels that it did at least pan out the way he wanted it to.
Okay, is that now the key to success for jjakji? Don't practice anymore.
이제 연습 안 하고 하면은 잘 할 수 있겠네요.
어차피 4강전이랑 결승전은 연습 시간이 없기 때문에 그냥 또 머릿속으로만 그려야 될 것 같아요.
He's like, well, it's not like I'm going to have much time to practice between now and the end anyway, so I'm just going to have to draw it in my head.
Okay. Before you came to Europe, you finished in the top 8 in GSL last season, last year. This year you came to Europe, WCS Europe for the first time, and everyone said, jjakji wins everything in WCS Europe. Are you still feeling that pressure? Do you still feel under pressure from the expectation of needing to win?
한국에서 이제 유럽으로 옮기면서
네.
다 사람들이 다 이제 jakji는 다 우승할 거다라고 막 얘기하는데 그런 게 부담스러운 거예요?
전혀 부담스럽지 않고요. 저도 솔직히 우승 최소 하나는 할 줄 알았는데 지금까지 있던 대회에서 근데 워낙 이제 유럽에 직접 와서 게임을 해보니까 유럽 선수들도 잘하고 그래서 좀 쉽진 않은 것 같은데 이렇게 첫 유럽 시즌에서 일단 4강까지는 좀 무난하게 오른 것 같아서 기분이 좋아요.
Okay. He said he doesn't feel burdened about all this pressure on him, but you know, when he came, he figured by now he would have won a major tournament, but he came here and realized European players are pretty good, and so he'll just have to continue on and press forth. But he feels pretty confident.
Okay, one final question. MC is next. Are you fearing the boss toss?
저번에 상파울로 때 한번 지긴 했지만 그 전까지는 다 이겼었기 때문에 긴장만 안 하면 이길 수 있을 것 같아요.
He said, you know, I faced him in Sao Paulo and I lost, but I've always won all the other games against him. So as long as I'm not nervous, I think I could win.
Okay, in English, MC is easy peasy.
Of course.
Okay. You heard it. You heard it from jjakji. He said MC's easy peasy. I might have. But thank you very much to jjakji. He is through to the semi-finals, as is MC. Now let's go and find out exactly how he did it.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. All right. As you can see, jjakji moving forwards. I kind of might have to eat my words a little bit, as jjakji kind of did very well there. Now, there's not a whole lot for me to look at from game number 2 and game number 3. Game number 2, obviously, with that 4x play and not being able to scout that out was a bit of a blunder for VortiX. And then going on to game number 3, just constant harassment there from jjakji, and very, very well executed. I wanted to go back to game number 1 very, very briefly, just to look over it, because as the main game unfolds, it becomes that standard TVZ that you end up seeing, despite VortiX being able to hold on for a very, very long time after this extremely economical opening from jjakji at the very beginning. But the interesting thing about how this works out is that if you think about how things happened in the grand final of the VortiX Invitational between these two exact players on this exact same map. Now, jjakji did open up with a very, very similar 3cc style, except the 3rd CC was a little bit later. It was after factory play and stuff like that. And as we go onto this one, the first map of the series, let's not forget, jjakji here is showing why he is one of the strongest Terrans out there and a champion caliber player. Because even despite him being hit in the VortiX Invitational by a very, very strong one-base Baneling attack by VortiX during that game, during that final, jjakji goes back onto this map in the first game of this series and says, I don't think you're going to go full balls to the wall from the very, very beginning in this series. I am going to go even greedier than I did in that first game, in that Frost game even, I should say, on that finals. And then from there, the builds just completely collide. jjakji has got this amazing, amazing economical position. Right now only hovering around 18 SCVs, but once he has the power of 3 command centers behind it, it's very, very difficult for VortiX to ever really do anything against. Now, and normally, I want to say that VortiX is the guy that likes to seize the initiative in a TVZ series. He likes to be the guy that's really controlling the pace and momentum. But what is really powerful about how jjakji played out this series is that throughout the entirety of it, he controlled the momentum when going up against a very, very strong non-Korean. And that's really going to do it, guys, from here. I just wanted to kind of touch on this and touch on what I thought the mentality of these players was going into it. So that's going to do it from me. Thank you very much for listening. And now, over to Paul.